Welcome to Wedding Studio, the podcast from You Had Me at I Do for wedding officiants who want stronger ceremonies, steadier business, and couples who feel truly cared for. Each episode, hosts Mike and Jen share practical tips, real workflows, and lessons from actual weddings, the kind of advice working pros can use right away. Wedding Studio is produced by the team behind Studio by You Had Me at I Do, the software built to run a modern wedding business. The advice comes first. And yes, the team hopes what you hear here makes you curious enough to explore the platform. When a tip connects to a tool, they'll say so. Learn more at youhadmeatido.app. Better weddings, better business, less chaos. Now, here's Mike and Jen.
Picture this, you're standing at the front of this just like beautiful sun-drenched ceremony space.
Oh yeah, the perfect setting.
Exactly. Every seat is filled. The grandparents are in the front row, dabbing their eyes. And the string quartet shifts seamlessly into the processional music. It's go time.
Right, the adrenaline is pumping.
Yeah. You look down at your tablet to pull up your opening remarks, and there's just nothing. Just a glaring, blank white screen staring right back at you.
Oh, man. It is the ultimate high-stakes failure, right?
Totally.
Because you have exactly one job in that moment, and the tools you relied on have completely vanished.
Well, welcome to another deep dive, where today we are exploring a scenario that frankly sends shivers down the spine of, well, anyone who has ever stood at an altar.
It's terrifying.
It really is.
Yeah.
So our mission for this deep dive is to explore the absolute necessity of offline ceremony preparation for wedding officiants. And we're looking at a fantastic source today, which is built on, hard data and lessons learned from over 400 weddings by the team at You Had Me at I Do.
Yeah, and the central thesis we're pulling from their research, it really requires a fundamental mindset shift for a lot of professionals.
How so?
Well, we basically need to stop treating offline preparation as a backup plan. Like, offline preparation is the plan, period.
Wow, okay.
Right. When you are standing up there as the officiant, Wi-Fi is literally nothing more than a temporary convenience. Leading that ceremony, however, is your absolute responsibility.
Regardless of the tech.
Exactly. It does not matter if the internet decides to, show up for work that day or not. The internet isn't legally marrying this couple. You are.
Okay, let's unpack this because I think most of us just assume constant connectivity is a given these days.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. I mean, we live in a world where you can stream a 4K movie while riding a bus, or you're like answering emails on a subway underground.
We're spoiled by it, yeah.
We really are. But the source points out that for a wedding officiant, banking on that connectivity is just a massive, dangerous illusion, especially what they categorize as high-risk venues.
Right, and they provide a very specific hit list of venues where connectivity essentially just goes to die.
We're
talking about rural barns, open field sites, beach and waterfront locations, stone basements, historic buildings, and backyard tents.
And I have to say, my absolute favorite red flag from the text is any site that requires the word meadow in its name.
Yes.
Like if you are navigating to Whispering Pines Meadow, you are driving completely off the digital map.
You are off the grid at that point. And the irony is that these places, they look breathtaking in photographs, which is exactly why couples book them.
Sure, of course.
But structurally, they are technological black holes. Take a historic barn, for example.
Right.
It's often reinforced with, thick timber, corrugated steel roofing, dense masonry. It literally acts like a Faraday cage, just blocking all external signals.
Wow, so it physically stops the signal.
Exactly, and yet these venues will boast in their marketing brochures about having Wi-Fi. Like, the venue coordinator might even tell you during the walkthrough, oh yeah, the Wi-Fi is super reliable.
I imagine the discrepancy there is basically a bandwidth issue, right? Like the coordinator's thinking about their own experience.
Yes.
They're in an empty room on a Tuesday, checking one email from a laptop. They aren't factoring in the massive load of an actual wedding day.
Not at all.
So the officiant arrives, looks at their phone, and finds they have absolutely zero cell service.
And that is the exact trap. A residential-grade router in a backyard tent or, a historic barn, it might handle the caterer and the planner during setup just fine.
Makes sense.
But the moment 50 or 100 guests arrive, the physics of that network change entirely.
Because everyone's on their phone.
Exactly. Every single one of those smartphones automatically pings the router, trying to connect, trying to pull down notifications, or aggressively attempting to upload high-resolution photos and videos to social media in the background.
Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't even think about the background app refresh stuff.
Right, so the router's bandwidth is instantly choked, and the IP addresses just get maxed out. And that router is completely indifferent to your ceremony start time.
It doesn't care that you're about to pronounce them husband and wife.
Not even a little bit.
I want to challenge this setup just a bit, though, because even if the venue's Wi-Fi collapses under the weight of the guest list, couldn't an officiant just pivot to their phone?
How do you mean?
Well, I routinely use my phone as a personal hotspot when I'm traveling. It seems like, a pretty foolproof safety net.
I see. Well, a hotspot is a bridge, but it cannot be your foundation.
Yep.
To manage this chaos, the source outlines a strict Wi-Fi dependency order that officiants really need to adopt.
That's the order.
So your primary source of truth must be the offline digital copy resting locally on the hard drive of your device.
Got it. Local first.
Always. Your second layer is a physical paper backup. Only in the third position should you even consider your personal hotspot.
Wow, third place.
Yeah, and frankly, that should only be for secondary tasks, like verifying a vendor's phone number before the ceremony begins. Venue Wi-Fi sits dead last.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Because if you're standing in a stone basement that is physically blocking the venue's Wi-Fi signal from getting through the walls,
Yep.
those same stones are going to block your cellular carrier signal from reaching your personal hotspot anyway.
Exactly. You can't beat the physics of a stone wall.
Right. It's like relying on venue Wi-Fi is essentially trusting a total stranger to hold your wallet in a packed stadium.
That's a great way to put it.
Like, you might get it back, but do you really want to risk your ability to buy a ticket home on a stranger's goodwill?
You really don't. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, you have to realize something fundamental about the wedding industry's ecosystem.
Which is?
The person who sold that beautiful venue to the couple is responsible for the aesthetic, the catering, the spatial flow. They are not responsible for your script loading.
Right, that's not their job.
Exactly. So building a workflow that requires their technology to function is a structural flaw on your part. The source is very blunt about this reality. They say you might get lucky, but luck is not a workflow.
Luck is not a workflow. That is a brilliant rule for life, honestly.
It really is.
So if we accept that these venues are, let's say, hostile environments for connectivity, we obviously need a chronologically sound protocol for securing the script long before we leave civilization.
Right.
The text refers to this protocol as the kitchen table rule.
Yeah, and this revolves entirely around mastering the art of the download.
All right.
The whole concept is that the last truly reliable, undisputed internet connection you're going to encounter is likely your own kitchen table or, your hotel room or a coffee shop on the drive out.
And that physical location is where the sync absolutely must happen.
Exactly.
And we aren't just talking about the script itself here. The source provides a super comprehensive checklist of what needs to be stored locally while you're, still sipping your morning coffee.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot more than just the vows.
Right. It's the final ceremony script, which includes any last-minute tweaks agreed upon at the rehearsal dinner. It's the processional and recessional order.
Very important.
The seating notes for tricky family dynamics, all your vendor contacts, and crucially, all your pronunciation notes and cue marks.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, because you really cannot pause at the altar to Google how to pronounce a grandmother's surname.
You absolutely cannot. And timing is really the defining factor of this sync. You must execute this download only after the absolute final accepted edit.
Okay, so wait until the very end.
Right. The source lays out this really strict timeline rule. If the couple sends you an email in a panic with a final tweak to their vows at 9 p.m.,
Right.
you must initiate a completely fresh download of the entire package at 9:05 p.m.
I see. So you can't just flag the email and think, I'll sync that specific change when I get to the venue.
No.
You have to capture the entire delta of those changes while you still have strong broadband.
You capture it all immediately. And this leads to what is probably the most critical verification step, which the source calls the airplane mode test.
I love this part.
Because hitting download and just seeing a little check mark appear is dangerously insufficient.
This is where I think a lot of people might get tripped up.
Oh, definitely.
Because the text insists that you have to close the app, toggle the device into airplane mode, and physically scroll through the entire script.
Yes.
But, why go through the physical scroll test? If my tablet's operating system tells me the download is 100% complete, Why shouldn't we trust the technology? Like, what's the mechanical reason for the deception here?
Well, it really comes down to how modern applications manage memory and caching.
Okay.
So to save data and load things quickly, many apps will cache the skeleton of a document.
The skeleton.
Yeah, like the headers, the margins, the user interface buttons, all without actually fetching the text payload from the server.
Oh, wow. So it looks like it's there, but it's empty.
Exactly. So if you are relying on just a little icon in the corner of your screen, you are trusting a status indicator that might only be confirming the skeleton is ready.
That is terrifying.
It is. A download icon that is spinning endlessly is not proof of an ongoing sync. It is often a sign that the app is completely trapped in an unresolved API call, just desperately trying to fetch a payload it can't reach.
So it looks like it's working, but it's actually just hanging on empty code.
Precisely. You need visual confirmation. When you flip that device into airplane mode and you manually drag your finger down the screen,
Right.
scrolling from the opening welcome all the way down to the final declaration of marriage, you are forcing the processor to prove that it has the actual readable words stored on the internal solid-state drive.
It's like repacking your own parachute rather than trusting the manufacturer's inspection tag.
That is exactly what it's like.
You just have to visually inspect the silk yourself. Okay, so we've downloaded it, and we forced the device to prove the data is actually local. But even with a perfect download, that file isn't actually safe yet.
Not quite.
Because what happens if a well-meaning assistant back at your office decides to, fix a typo while you're driving to the venue?
Disaster.
Right. Here's where it gets really interesting. We have to implement bunker mode.
Yes, bunker mode. It's a fantastic conceptual tool because too many efficients treat an offline backup as just a passive cache.
Like it's just sitting there.
Right, like it's just a dusty safety net sitting there in case they fall. But bunker mode is an active, intentional severing of the document from the cloud.
By engaging bunker mode, you're literally locking the ceremony script within your software, actively removing collaboration rights.
Exactly.
You are ensuring that the office or your studio manager literally cannot push and edit to the file while you are on site.
Because you're preventing a catastrophic sync conflict.
Yeah. Yes. Imagine standing at the altar, looking at your screen and reading version A of the vows, while someone back at home hits save on version B.
Oh my goodness.
And your tablet tries to merge the two documents live during the ring exchange.
That would be a literal nightmare.
It would ruin everything.
It would. So you are intentionally turning your device into a closed ecosystem.
Right.
For the next few hours, your device and your device alone is the absolute authority on what that ceremony looks like.
I kind of think of it like taking the final script, placing it into this heavy digital vault, spinning the combination dial, and refusing to look at the numbers again until the wedding is completely over.
I love that.
Right. Nothing enters the vault and nothing leaves the vault.
The vault analogy perfectly captures the finality of the action, for sure. And the timing for engaging this lock is just as strict as the download itself.
Oh, okay. When do we do it?
You must engage bunker mode the night before or the morning of the wedding while you are still sitting on a trustworthy Wi-Fi connection.
Okay. So you absolutely cannot do this from the driver's seat in the venue parking lot.
Never from the parking lot. Never.
Why not?
If you attempt a quick edit or a sync lock from the parking lot using a weak, degrading cellular signal, you risk a partial sync.
Ah, I see.
The software might begin overwriting the local file, lose the connection halfway through, and just corrupt the entire document.
That is brutal.
It is. Once that vault is locked at your kitchen table, you have to treat the device in your hand as the singular source of truth.
All right. So we've locked the digital vault. We are safely in bunker mode. But, hardware is still hardware.
It sure is.
What if the tablet itself suffers a catastrophic failure? What if it overheats in the direct midday sun, or you simply, drop it on the stone patio and shatter the screen?
It happens more often than you'd think.
I bet. So this brings us to the ultimate redundancy layer. We transition from digital lockdowns to analog redundancy. Let's examine paper.
Let's do it. Because paper is an incredibly resilient technology.
It really is.
There is this pervasive misconception among modern tech-forward efficients that utilizing paper is somehow old-fashioned, or that it signals a lack of technical sophistication.
There's definitely a fear of looking like you're reading from a bulky 1990s dot matrix printout.
Right, especially at a highly curated, visually stunning luxury event.
Exactly.
But the source reframes this beautifully. Paper isn't an archaic fallback. It is one of the most reliable, battle-tested technologies available at a live event.
Because it doesn't fail.
Right. It does not require a lithium-ion battery. It does not search for Wi-Fi. It will never force a mandatory software update, just as the bride takes her first step down the aisle.
Oh, the dreaded forced update.
It's the worst. So the goal of having the paper isn't necessarily to perform the ceremony from it. The goal is the unshakable knowledge that you can.
It's the psychological safety net.
Exactly.
And the source doesn't just say, hey, print it out. There are very specific tactical choices for this paper prep.
Very specific.
Like, you print it after you have engaged the digital bunker mode lock, ensuring perfect parity between the tablet and the page.
Right.
You format it in large type, which is super critical if you're fighting the glare of bright sunlight.
Oh, squinting at an altar is not a good look.
Not at all. And you absolutely must number the pages.
Yeah.
Because dropping them in a gust of wind without numbers is a puzzle you literally do not have time to solve.
No one wants to see you playing 52-card pickup with the vows.
Truly. And you keep it dry in a protective sleeve for outdoor venues. And finally, you bind it with a simple binder clip or a slim, unobtrusive folder.
What's fascinating here is the psychological comfort tied directly to the physical object itself.
Yeah.
The source emphasizes the muscle memory of crisis management.
Oh, I like that.
You should store this physical paper backup in the exact same pocket of your gear bag for every single wedding without fail.
That makes perfect sense mechanically. Like if your tablet dies, your brain is going to flood with adrenaline. The absolute last thing you want to be doing is frantically digging under the passenger seat of your car or rummaging through a disorganized tote bag while the prelude music swells.
It's a recipe for a panic attack.
It is. You need your hand to know exactly where to reach without even looking.
Exactly.
But let me pose a counter-argument on the aesthetics here.
Okay, go for it.
Does pulling out a binder clip or a manila folder interrupt the sleek, modern aesthetic of a luxury wedding? Like, does it ruin the vibe?
I will tell you what destroys the aesthetic of a luxury wedding significantly faster than a printed piece of paper.
What's that?
Sheer, unadulterated panic.
Huh, fair point.
Right. A calm, grounded officiant confidently reading from a piece of paper is infinitely more professional than a terrified officiant aggressively poking at a frozen iPad screen while the couple just stares at them in confusion.
That is an unbeatable point. The sweat forming on the brow definitely ruins the photos more than a binder clip.
Absolutely it does.
All right, so our preparation phase is complete. We are downloaded, we are locked in the bunker, and we have our perfectly prepped analog redundancy.
We are ready.
Let's transition into game day execution, specifically focusing on how to manage a crisis when the inevitable goes wrong.
Yeah, so the execution phase begins with a morning of verification.
Okay.
This is a very quick, methodical routine you perform on the wedding day itself before you ever cross the threshold into the ceremony space.
It's basically the final systems check.
Yes.
You open your software offline, you manually scroll the full ceremony one more time, you physically confirm that the very last page renders correctly.
Crucial step.
And you test the interactive elements, checking that your procession lists and contact panels expand smoothly without freezing.
Right.
And if anything hangs during this check, you immediately turn around, find a known good connection, and re-download the entire package before you walk into the venue's dead zone.
That boundary is critical because once you step into that zone, you must operate as if the outside world no longer exists.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about mid-ceremony meltdowns.
Let's do it.
Let's say you are halfway through the vow exchange. You tap the screen to turn the page, and the app flickers.
The moment where time stands still.
Literally.
So the golden rule of live event production applies here. Never draw attention to the technology.
Never.
The guests, and more importantly, the couple, they do not need a public service announcement about your connectivity issues.
They just need you to lead the moment.
Exactly.
You don't break the fourth wall. Like, no one wants to hear, hey, hang on, folks, my tablet is acting up. Let me just try restarting my router.
Never. And whatever you do in that moment of panic, do not refresh.
Okay, let's dig into the mechanics of that. Because our modern instinct, drilled into us by years of using web browsers, is to pull down to refresh the page when something stalls.
It's totally ingrained in us.
So why is that instinct so destructive in this specific context?
It comes down to memory allocation. When you trigger a refresh command, you are explicitly instructing the device to reach out to the internet. You're telling it to grab the newest version of the file and overwrite the current display.
Right.
Now, to make room for that incoming data, the device often flushes the local temporary RAM cache.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So if you have no internet connection, it flushes the text you were just reading. It attempts to pull down the new data, finds absolutely nothing, and leaves you staring at a totally blank screen.
That is horrifying.
It is. Refreshing is the mechanical trigger that wipes the script entirely.
So what do you do instead?
If the screen stutters or freezes, just stay on the last loaded section and continue speaking from what is already rendered.
And if the device blanks completely, despite your best efforts, like it just crashes?
Then you seamlessly reach into that designated pocket, pull out the paper folder you prepped, and you find your place by scanning for the bold section headings, not by panicking.
Kind of makes me think of a theater production.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Right. When a prop breaks on stage, a good actor doesn't stop the play to complain to the director.
Definitely not.
They seamlessly incorporate it, or, an understudy steps into the spotlight. The audience just assumes it's all part of the choreography.
That is a much more accurate way to view it. You maintain the cadence of your voice, you allow for a natural, dramatic pause, and you resume your speaking rhythm as if you planned the transition all along.
The couple won't even notice.
Right, because the couple's nervous system is going to mirror your nervous system. They will follow your calm far more readily than they will follow a frozen screen.
So what does this all mean for the couple? I mean, we are doing all this secret behind-the-scenes ninja preparation, managing caches and bunker mode.
A lot of hidden work, yeah.
All entirely to protect their experience. So should they even be aware of this protocol?
Well, the source strongly advocates for transparency, suggesting you gently train the couple during the planning phase.
Okay, gently.
Right, you don't want to induce anxiety. But modern couples often operate under the assumption that everything is just magically, invisibly live-synced to the cloud at all times.
They assume the venue is just a physical extension of the internet.
Exactly. So during your final prep meetings, you simply mention casually that your standard operating procedure is to carry an offline, locked digital copy alongside a physical paper backup. You explain that their ceremony is completely insulated, even if the venue's signal drops out or, a storm knocks out a cell tower.
I can see how that conversation builds immense trust.
It really does.
It sets realistic expectations about the venue's limitations, but it positions you as a deeply experienced professional rather than someone who is just being paranoid.
Yes.
It signals to them, hey, I understand the risks of this environment, and I have already engineered the solution.
It establishes incredible authority. And then, post-wedding, once you are back home on a reliable broadband connection.
Back in civilization.
Right. You can finally release that bunker lock, sync your post-ceremony notes, and send your follow-up emails. Offline prep is a localized wedding day tactical maneuver. It is not a permanent lifestyle.
Right. You can reconnect eventually.
Exactly. But for that specific hour on the day itself, the device in your hand must be entirely self-contained.
Okay, listener, let's recap the vital journey we've mapped out today.
It's been quite the journey.
It has. To successfully navigate the technological black holes of beautiful high-risk venues, you need to execute a disciplined workflow.
Yes.
You download your final script early while on stable Wi-Fi. You verify that payload with a physical scroll in airplane mode. Lock the document down tight by engaging bunker mode. Carry a smartly formatted paper backup in the same pocket every time. And execute a flawless morning of verification before you step into the danger zone.
This raises an important question, though, and it's a shift in perspective I think is really worth exploring before we go.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Where are we going with this?
Consider the emotional weight of the job.
Okay.
We spend so much time worrying about how losing a Wi-Fi signal might ruin the mechanics of a ceremony.
Right, the technical failure.
But what if we evaluate it differently? What if intentionally disconnecting, deliberately engaging that bunker mode, severing your ties with the cloud and shutting out the chaotic noise of the outside world, actually forces you to be a profoundly more present, grounded, efficient?
Wow.
Right.
By accepting that the internet practically ceases to exist for that 1 hour, you are removing every single potential digital distraction.
Exactly. When that tablet is locked, you aren't just protecting a digital file from a sync error.
Well,
You are actively protecting the sacred focus of the moment itself. You aren't tempted by incoming email notifications, and you aren't distracted by the urge to make one last frantic, second-guessing edit to the script.
it's just you.
It is just you, the couple standing in front of you, the paper in your hand, and the gravity of the moment. By turning off the connection to everywhere else, you really force yourself to be entirely here.
I love that reframing so much. The offline protocol isn't just about technical safety. It's about forcing presence. Well, you've certainly given me, and hopefully you, our listener, a tremendous amount to think about the next time we're standing at the front of a room, internet or no internet.
It's been great diving into this.
It really has. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Stay curious, stay prepared, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Wedding Studio from You Had Me at I Do. For links, resources, episode notes, and anything Mike and Jen mentioned today, visit youhadmeatido.app/podcast. And while you're there, take a look at Studio by You Had Me at I Do, the software built to help wedding pros manage the couple, the wedding, and the business behind it all. Better weddings, better business, less chaos. We'll see you next time on Wedding Studio.